Ciao, Colin. Ciao, Bambini. Welcome back. How was your week?
Oh, well, it's been a blur. It's another 24-second week,
Yeah,
mostly working and drawing, but pleasant. We had a break in the heat, so we're now like just gently sort of oozing our way into the autumn now and getting back into truly the weather for which we are accustomed to. So yeah, we're having
accustomed
weather.
to, accustomed to, and deserve.
And deserve. Yeah, totally. We because all literally, I mean, even me, I've like all we've done, anyone in Scotland, all we've done is moan about how hot it's been for like a month, and now we're seeing patter patters of rain, and it's like, oh my god, is that all summer was? Like, is that all we're getting? So yeah, we are our own worst enemy.
Well, but so that
Famous.
that is as which is on point, I suppose, as predictable as the migration of the stork. As soon as there's any rain at the end of a British summer anywhere in Britain, that'll be like, oh, I guess that afternoon was summer then, and that's how you can tell winter is on its way. That first little obvious joke of the season
She's
is like, oh, is that
she's a coming. How was your week?
again? Yeah, mere seconds long. We obviously have our orchard here, and so I got an email 2 days ago from the in the valley. We have a very good tree nursery called Woodbridge, and that's where we get our heritage apples from, and all the rest of it, like the trees. And they got an email going, your hawthorns and your hazels and your sloe are ready,
Ooh,
and I'm like, I was not. It's that time of late winter here where it's like shit. Now
yeah.
I need to be putting things in the ground, and I will turn around after that, and it will just be mowing and fertilizing and everything between now and December. I'm like, and it's probably my favorite time of year in the valley. When it hits mid spring, it's very Earthsea. It's very like the first Earthsea book. It's just green and clear, and everything's growing and beautiful, and there are like flowers and birds and all that kind of stuff. And so it's good, but it's a lot of work, and yeah, it's like, oh wow. I got a few quiet weeks in the dead of winter where you just actually go fallow and don't really do anything, and it's all on again, all on for because you are a mean bitch. You sent me a meme over the week reminding me that we're only 4 months away from 2022. What the shit?
Yes. So guys, we have a delivery date and we are going to fucking hit it whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
So
No.
are you putting hawthorns down and stuff and
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah. So
land?
like we put the
That's so cool.
it's a windbreak for the orchard, right? So it's funny. The slow are the difficult things to get down here. I don't even really like slow, but when I found out that the nursery only the nursery heavily restricts the amount of slow bushes or twigs really that you can buy because they're so popular, and because I'm always on the fucking internet. When the email came through going it's first come first served, I bought the maximum, which is two. When I picked them up yesterday, the woman's like, I'm having people from Hobart and further across the state ringing and like begging, subtly bribing to see if they could get some. So I have apparently valuable plants, but it's going to be sort of a quite a witchy hedge. There'll be some
Nice.
hawthorn, but at the front bit is sloe and hazelnut and hawthorn, and they all kind of like wind pollinate and whatever. And
Oh,
that's going to run along the side of the orchard. So another thing I have to keep
that
alive.
in like 10 years time, I guess that's just
When
going to
I'm
be like,
39, I mean, I don't
yes,
even know.
yes.
I can't even imagine being 39.
Indeed. We'll all be shipping up for like a slow gen like in
Exactly.
2030.
All right. So yeah, we should, I guess, begin where we usually do with a drag reference. I don't know. Welcome to the main stage. But then after that, I mean, shall we do? Where do we want to go first in terms of previous cards? Would we like to look at the bear?
Oh, dealer's choice. Go for
All
it.
right,
Like,
let's
who
go with
cares? I'll figure
bear.
it.
Let's go with bear. All right, talk us through what's happening here.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh, my. Oh, okay. So we have Bear. Added the recommendations from last week, which were super good. The shamans, the shaman-esque. I'm just gonna say shaman-esque. This creature is
No,
still
it's a
kind of giving me
shaman.
like
Their pronouns
the
are they, them.
shaman.
Carry
Nah.
on.
So I had like it wasn't the main focus of the week. So like, is it right there behind the pod? Do we think,
No, well,
or
you know
what?
what
What are
I'm
your thoughts
seeing?
on it?
So I actually quite like that it's almost like a picture you might see in the sun of like, deranged local drunk sees ghost in the window of old pub.
Right. That when I was that's when I was like, is this because it was like when we did the bear, I was like, oh, it's a ghost, but we don't want a ghost per se. But now I was like, it's there, but it's kind
It's not
of
there, and it's like, am I seeing that bitch? So, but what I think
yeah.
where the balance or where it's not right. So you either bring the shaman out of the sun and make them a bit clearer. I'm sticking with the they them thing, or leave them where they are. Because what's out of context is the bear print now, because it doesn't look like it's summoning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we
Well,
want to
so
stick in that direction, throw like what it's like to to pretend to be a craft era witch. Just throw some fucking candles around it, maybe a
got it.
gourd, and make it look just a little bit more funny. We were talking before the show, hocus pocus, and that might be that's what's missing for me. Well, not missing. That's the bit that's sort of out of alignment. It's either
Yeah,
it's
no, I
cool
feel
to
it.
have
I feel
like
it.
ghost shaman, where it's like, am I seeing that bitch or not? But then
Yeah.
we either remove the paw print or make the paw print more stiff as a board, light as a feather.
So yeah, totally. But see, when I was in it, I was like, this. It does not. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel done right.
No.
So here's what I'll say: if we're doing like the candles around like the paw and stuff, do we maybe want the shaman like beyond the fence, like by
Well,
the
so
paw sign?
that's what I mean by like we either pull her out from being a ghost in a
I think
pub.
to me, I didn't have the time to do it, but to me, that's what I felt like doing. I
Okay.
just, crouched maybe and like
That's what I'm
looking at
seeing
it,
her like
concentrating on
crouched
it.
in the paw print. You
Yeah, yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
you could still witch talk aesthetic it.
Let's not talk about TikTok. I
Yeah, yeah,
don't have
yeah.
the
Well,
time this
I was
week.
waiting for you to mention that this week, and I was trying to find a way,
No,
into
I feel,
throwing you in it.
just life is about advertising. Okay. No, I'm feeling like that was my instinct, but I just didn't have the time to kind of put it out there. I made adjustments to the overall image, which I'm happy with.
Mm-hmm.
And I added the fire to like the industrial estate stuff, and
Yeah,
it's turned
and
out
I
very
actually like.
cinematic, which I
Yeah,
enjoy.
I like the plant in the bottom left corner. It actually looks suitably Siberian. Like if you're looking at it,
Yeah, yeah.
I can look at that and go, yeah, this is Kazakhstan or something. And I think that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
adding
Yeah.
little like the little clumps of snow on top of things is like it takes me back to what's going to happen to me in 2 months' time when it starts snowing here or whatever it is. Although not now, now it's kind of a bit farther along, but where you see like just a tiny, like thin, meek little weed or plant or whatever it is, and it just is like unburdened with like 2 pounds of snow on top of it. And I love that. I love that feel of weight. It's an enjoyable thing to look at. It was an enjoyable thing to draw, I'll say.
No, good, good. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the next step is we pull the shaman out and
I think so.
put
Yeah.
them
And get
in.
the candles out.
Yeah,
Step is a
exactly.
Step is a feather, light as a boar.
Uh, a movie from my parents' childhood. All right, so
Well, you and I both enjoyed the remake or the reboot, of course.
I literally didn't watch it because I'm like, I don't.
Worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I'll just put out.
I don't like. I think that's why I didn't watch it. I'm like, it is impossible for this
And
to be good. In the
I'll say
same way
this
that the
really,
bewildering
the,
Charmed
yeah,
reboot was just
the
so bad it
the
gave me like
director,
cancer. I don't know. Yeah.
the, the director is super cool. Loved her, loved it, love her. Other thing, she's just a terrible, terrible fucking. Anyway, that's not the point. That's the Halloween episode. So,
Oh
guys,
yeah, we'll actually have one. That's pretty
let's
good. Yeah.
do. It's on a Sunday, Halloween this year. So, I guess for you, maybe a Monday or a Saturday. So
Yeah.
it's like we're relatively close. It'll be the week before Halloween either
Well,
way, or the
obviously,
days
most
before
of
Halloween.
Australia, not us in Tasmania, but most of Australia is imprisoned at the moment. And that looks to continue as this fucking nightmare rolls on. But it'll probably be your turn by then. And so,
Oh, 100%.
which means we could actually move the episode that week.
Just
if no one
we'll
can
just
go
do
out for Halloween, we'll just do Halloween.
we'll just do a Joe Rogan 4-hour show. Like, fuck it.
Oh, that might actually be the episode where you would be forced to draw on the show. For people who are unaware, like when Colin and I were chatting about this last year, he's like, so wait, do you mean like some sort of challenge where you want me to be like drawing during the show? And I'm like, definitely not. Except for the Halloween special.
Automatic drawing, just like, and it's just like a napkin where I'm just like, help me. And blood, obviously.
Nice one. Well, I think we're happy with a direction for the bear to go in. Let's also jump to the stars because this is super close and I fucking love it. So talk us through what happened.
Well, it just added some dancing ladies.
Yep.
Well, they're just like, and this in the midst of this sort of fire around the stone structure.
Are they ladies?
Well, they're people. Who cares?
They should very definitely be men, just to be historically accurate. This is a men's temple.
Right. Yeah, they're men. So they're men.
Good. Yeah.
Remember, this is going to be playing card size, and if you can't tell from the full size of it, you're not going to fucking tell from the fucking playing card size. So that was like, I took that to heart because I was like, no, that's so the shadows were just supposed to be like a kind of, supernatural extravagance around it. But I thought, oh no, we have to have dancing because, what's a party without dancing? So there's a lot of dancing. And just sort of render the shadows a bit more.
And yeah, I'm happy with the smoke too. I'm happy with the sky country.
And the smoke, yeah, that's right.
That was the bit that I'm like, yeah, we definitely need that. And it looks really cool. So very happy with it.
And it's good that we're showing this because it will relate to the following card.
Yes, indeed. Which was
just guys, everyone just remember right now, focus on Orion's belt or Orion's belt. Just guys, think about it. Focus. There, that 3 dots right there by the inset. Think about it.
So what you're saying is you're ready for your reveal. So,
my reveal.
So let's do it. Let's go to the stalk and do the stalk first, and then we'll talk about your inset journey this week.
Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, I'm talking.
Yeah. Wait, did you just put yourself on mute when you said, "Oh, I'm talking"? Because your Zoom output just dropped to like nothing. So you might have actually switched your mic.
Can you hear me now? Are you okay?
Yeah. You're back now.
Hello?
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
All right, talk us through the stalk.
Hold on, yeah, that's cool. Okay. So the original, like, again, we started with, you gave me like a good solid image, and as you were describing it, like I was like, all right, I know what I'm doing. This is fine. Even though I don't think anyone's ever seen a fucking stork from above, like,
No.
Wellston. Like, no one, for some reason, no one's ever caught a stork in flight from above via drone, but I could see it, so I knew what we were going for. We got the nail in. The initial sketch was, I put the pyramids because that was like a feature of it underneath the inset, which didn't. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't, because it sort of made them the point, and as
the focal point, yeah.
And as you say, like, because of where Orion's belt is on the star card, this is a nice little wink as we move to the next one.
it's as we call it in the business, a throwback to literally the last card. So yeah, that was fun to do. There's a little more work to do with just like the city planning or whatever. Like, turns out that's harder to do for an ancient civilization, or for
Well, it's Cairo
1905
around
civilization.
1904, right?
Yeah.
And I always pick 1904 because that's like Crowley Book of the Law. I actually quite like it as almost a ghost map. So I don't think it needs to be fully. There's something about the green in the bottom
Rendered.
left and the kind of ghost of Cairo from 120 years ago that,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously it's not done, but
No.
I quite like it.
I
I
want to
quite
get
like it
the.
being
I want to get.
a dreamy, not
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
reality thing. But
I
I'm
want
really
to
happy.
get the. Sorry, I get. I want to get the light of the image you shoot, like the pinkish, that kind of dawn, or it's like that magic hour light,
Hmm.
and it's not there because it's kind of you have to kind of go in at every level to do it. Um, but it's much like the kind of house card where I kind of know what the light has to look like for it to land as an image.
Yeah.
Um, so, but again, strong suggestion, easy to carry out. That's what I'll say.
Although it is very
And
homosexual in the sense that we wanted the card, we wanted the storks going to Africa rather than Europe just to be different. These guys are flying north. They're going in precisely the wrong direction. And that's why you don't let homosexuals near a map when you're on a road trip, because you will go in the wrong direction. But actually, honestly, it's better for the card. Like, the reason the stork is the arrival card in a European context is they show up back in Europe in the spring, right? So, like they actually should be going in this direction. But I like that this accidentally turned out to be right, because I wanted it to have the Africa and ancestral connection, because the motif of the stork bringing a baby is 100,000 years old at least and comes from Africa as far as Dr. Witzel can tell. So I wanted that in there. I wanted that ancestral Well of Souls thing. And we've actually got the birds flying in the right direction. So, like, it's working. It's really good.
there is always there is, and it's just every card has been this way, where there is a direction that the action should be going,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's for like, and we seem to just we figure it out. But never once have we been like, oh, this is the wrong composition, it should be the other way. Like, we know the, I guess that's story or narrative or whatever. Like, there is like a, you know where the bitch is going.
Yeah, it is. And also, that's fun. Like, if you read with Marseille, and particularly if you just read Marseille Trumps, and this is for people listening in the tarot course in the members area, but the cards are in dialogue around directions and sight lines and so on. And it's fun that we have the opportunity to allow readers to, because Lenormand is profoundly relational, we have the opportunity to allow readers to do that if they need to. Because that, when you read cards, whatever, especially if you read them the way you should, you get the question, and then whatever shows up, rather than fixed meanings and so on. So if you need to read directionally, we got you covered. Nice one. Anything else about the stork?
No, I think I know what I'm doing with it, and you're liking it, so that's always helpful.
Yeah, and good feedback. Good feedback in the chat, Keith.
A little more rendering, a lot more light play, and that'll be the kind of, the deed will be done.
Absolutely. Now, tell us about your inset journey this week, because that was on the action item last week, and as we can see there, because I know whenever you've used just placeholder pictures of playing cards before, people tend to get very excited, and it's cool your jets.
Yeah,
it's someone else's
because
game, but
people
this one
do
is
not
yours.
listen.
Yeah.
To the words that I'm saying out of my mouth when I say things are mock up. Correct. Yes, well picked up, Gordon. So this is just Queen of Hearts, and I went straight for like literally. So it's a queen holding a baby.
It's fantastic,
because this is the kind of thing, right? But so we've mentioned, I think we've mentioned Rachel Weisz before, because she popped up in the Raider card as like the sort of twink hot dude
bisexual
maybe dude,
icon.
maybe not dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But as the Spanish queen from the fountain, and I knew immediately to go to that. This is so we're thinking, and you said last week about like a kind of child's like home stained glass kit, which I enjoyed. So it'll be rudimentary, but like you know what you're looking at. A question I was thinking about today. So does each inset want to? Obviously, we have the color of the inset has to match the meaning of like whatever the inset is. But do we want it to kind of match the color of the card below
No,
it?
no,
If
no.
you know
I
what I
want it
mean?
to stay like traditional playing card color
Right.
because, of course, we will be getting.
Because
People will be able to
some
buy
of the
that.
cards
Yeah.
obviously don't have like a red, black,
What
whatever
I
kind
do
of
like, and again,
situation.
this was mock up, but I think it works. I actually like the hand drawn outline. Do you know what I mean? So you see how
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I think we definitely have that as our like. Obviously, you can't do it for the playing card deck when we have that available for people, but I like how that. I fucking love how that looks on the card so far.
it's yeah, because the images have ended up the images of the card have ended up being more realistic. We had a word for it. What was the word? More realized? No, I don't know. So I think it works to have something more kind of rustic on top of it as
Yes,
just a thing to go to. But we were talking before that they can't one can't outshine the other. Like you have to like really be able to look at the whole thing as a and not
correct.
think, oh, queen card.
Yeah,
You have to be able to look at it as a it has to wash over you. So we'll do our best to kind of make it, even though they are separate images, the same image, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and but I think the rustic's sort of the right word for it because what I love about playing card fortune telling is its antiquity. It's the first one. Everything tarot came from that, and then Lenormand came from a combination of that, and as we know, coffee ground readings and whatever. So I like the idea of it. If you think about the cards that people would have been telling fortunes with in a tavern in Italy in the 1300s, they would have been rough as me on a Saturday morning, right? Like that would be a mess. And I want that energy in the insets. We can't do it for the playing cards themselves because we will not be hand distressing each pack as they go out. But I like that the sort of unevenness of the outline. It's part of that same. This is a fortune teller's deck. A feel. Now we chatted about this during the week. At the moment, what are your thoughts? I'm thinking. So let's look at Queen Rachel. That looks great for this card.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks great for this card. We chatted about when it comes to the actual playing cards. Do we want them to mirror? And I think I do. And I don't think they need
Yeah.
to on this. But I think if you're actually going to be, because I intend to use them as playing cards, this might be one of those things that we walk back later and go, do you know what? It's a fortune telling playing card deck. If we don't end up reversing the courts, big fucking deal, right? I actually have old timey, reprints, but fancy reprints of old timey playing card decks, which I will in fact get ready for next week's show. Remind me in the Telegram chat, which you should all join. It doesn't necessarily follow that you have to have. And remember, if we looked, I wanted to use the sort of Spanish cards to start with, and we definitely made the right decision by moving away from that. But in Spanish playing cards, the courts aren't reversed. They're just like the sort of a gender non-binary person on a horse. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily yeah, so
So,
I think we should do. We
and
should
my
try reversal, but if it doesn't work, because I am living for Queen Rachel as our Queen of
yeah,
Hearts, I think it's excellent.
I think reversal. Are we talking reversal within like the Lenormand
No,
card
no, no.
within this
We're talking
card?
like you know how if you pick up a Queen of Hearts playing card,
Right, right, right.
yeah, it doesn't matter where you hold it up. So I
Yeah,
want to try that for our playing cards. I want to see if we can actually get that
cool.
mirror. Don't do it on the insets; they're too small to start with.
Yeah, of
And if that
course.
just
Yeah,
looks like a mess, like if it looks like a Queen Rachel monster,
yeah, yeah. It would
then
be tight. It would be
yeah,
a chimera. That's it. because of the trump cards. Yeah, no. So the trick there would be just to design it in a way that there's always the option of like a diagonal cut in it, so that you could just, if you wanted to mirror it, it's there to do. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not that's not a crazy burden of like time. It's just like clever designing when we get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
I think
just as this.
I think the
No
way to
one.
do that right is to carry on creating the insets as if we aren't going to
Yeah.
like don't create the insets so that they look like Queen Rachel, and then we'll worry about the if when of getting them to reverse like a classic playing card later on down the line after the Halloween special.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll solve it in the Halloween special.
Are we thinking of releasing the playing card deck as like at the same time, or is that like
Oh no, it's
we'll do it like a sort of
I actually think the
thing?
playing card, as far as having discussions with the printer, the play for the people who have bought the complete full, which is sold out, they get that pack anyway, and so that they'll get everything.
Thanks,
in the
guys.
box.
By the way,
Yeah, exactly. And also tell your friends to buy some more of the other ones. I don't know. I actually think we could even get it out before, which would be interesting, right? Like, especially if we can settle on, yeah,
would
if we can
certainly be
settle on-
interesting to me, Gordon.
yeah, but like, yeah, exactly. I'll make sure we'll do more time on the insets next week, because I'll show you some of the old timey. Now that we're not using the Spanish ones,
Yeah,
I'll show you some of the old timey
Show us your
card decks
cards.
that are an inspiration. Because the weird thing about them is you actually only, if we're going to do it in that kind of hand drawn stained glass way, you actually only need to draw one heart and
Yeah,
club.
true, totally.
It's actually not. I'm not doing the work when I say this. It's actually not as much work as it's not like each of the 36 Lenormand cards.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Lenormand. It's going to be rusticated. This is what happens when the rich become rusticated. They get removed to the countryside, and they have to lead a simpler life. That's simply the way these things go.
Nice.
But I haven't done it this week, and it was just like a brief, It feels more comfortable in the image, or I feel more comfortable in the images, because I'm like, oh, okay, this is the style, this is the thing. So next week's, do we know what next week's card is? Do we know?
No, because I thought it was the mountain this week. I didn't even look, right?
The dog, sorry, this week is the
the dog is this week.
What's the inset for the dog?
10 of hearts.
10 of hearts. Okay, so here's the, well, just before we get into that. So that's
So
Queen
just
of Hearts,
to jump
10 of
what,
Hearts.
what Nathan's talking about, at the moment the insets are going to look, the playing card deck that it comes with and is associated with and is from this cinematic universe is going to look stained glass. So the heart is going to look like a heart is made out of stained glass, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the whole, it doesn't mean so like a 7 of hearts isn't, maybe it isn't going to be a window with 7.
No, I don't think it would be.
Yeah.
I think there would be maybe an element of it, but that's too. So Gordon and I say Gordon and I is like, I had a rant about borders and like tarot cards and stuff, where truly sometimes the border kills the fucking deck for me. I look at it from like a design perspective more than just like a field like perspective or an emotional perspective. But if you fuck about with a border and it fucks with it's heavier than the rest of the image, and much like with the stained glass effect, if you go with the theme heavier than what you need for the fucking card, it's going to fucking mess it up. We'll make the balance for the regular cards, and then like the trump cards will just have a big gay parade for that.
It's just like. Well, we could work this out when we do the insets, but like it's just going to be iconic queens, right? Like Rachel,
right?
Tilda,
Rue, fuck it, like,
exactly. Rachel, Tilda, Rue. We'll find another one, but and it's only if you watch the show will you get it. Otherwise, they'll just look like
Angela Bassett. She's in there somewhere.
This will be good. This is one for the Telegram group, guys. So for the next week. We will be auditioning iconic queens for Fortune's Fool's All Stars, which is
Yes.
the playing card deck.
Kate Blanchett will be playing all the kings of all the different suites. So that's already done and dusted. Don't worry about it.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. All right. I like what Jason said. I like mirror courts, but I kind of want a water reflection so both halves face the same way. Interesting. I don't know. We'll see, because again, we might get a bit confused. The sort of primary like reflective metaphor on the cards is a glass one because it's stained glass. So we'll see what happens. You know what? It'll probably end up that we won't be mirroring them like a classic Western playing card. They'll probably just end up looking like the insets. So they'll probably be one way, and that's how it is. And that's how it is on the casino boat, where these cards are used for sexy James Bond.
What's that river? The river, the elf river in Lord of the Rings. It's that the casino boat's going fucking up there.
A casino boat on the Anduin. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, that's the insets. We should talk about today's card, or this week's card, which is Doggo, which is amazing. And I kind of want to do the cunt board reveal and then talk, if no one objects, because presumably all of you have seen iteration.
Dogs.
No, I'll tell this first, because I in my head I'm like, do you know what I'm going to fucking do with the dog card? I'm going to make everyone burst into fucking tears every time it shows up, and I'm going to make it Seymour from Futurama, which was Fry's dog that waited 1,000 fucking years for him.
Okay, so I'm going to cry this episode.
Yeah. And so my way of doing that was going to be, and wait for it, a dog on a grave, right? So if you've seen Red Dog, which is Australian films, you think you're going in to see a comedy, but actually we're a very manipulative and gaslighting people. And so you think, oh, I'll go much like a
as the Glaswegian, like this is why I feel like Australians match with Glaswegian, get betterness. It's just betterness.
Yeah. You think when Red Dog is a fantastic film, as is the Red Dog True Blue, whatever the sequel's called. They were actually both really, really good Australian films, but you think you're watching, oh, it's a film about a boy and his dog. Let's bring the children in. And you go, oh, God. Anyway, so I wanted it to be a dog on a grave, on like a master's grave. And then I was doing Google image search of Lenormand dog tarot cards, and some motherfuckers got there first. Well played. Whoever that person is.
A Greyfriars Bobby situation.
Yeah, and someone's got there first, and well done, because usually the cards are sort of like all classic Lenormand cards, kind of boring. But someone got to the dog on grave for Lenormand cards before me, so we're not going to do that. So Seymour is safe. However, if you are, I'm just switching to cunt board. If you've been around the RuneSoup world and not even been a member for a while, if you've read Chaos Protocols, you may be familiar with Saint Guinevere. Saint Guinevere is one of my favorite saints, and is in fact the patron of one of the intention groups we have as members. And St. Guinevere is a doggo. And actually the feast day is coming up, August 22, mark the calendar if you feel like doing something. So St. Guinevere is actually a really good choice for, and I'm actually seeing something like this, but with a more subtle halo like this. So I'll click on both of them in a minute. I'll start here. St. Guinevere actually matches the quote-unquote meaning of the card, just in case Camellia is listening. But it's a dog it's a saint of loyalty. And what actually happened was the story of St. Guinevere and how he became a saint is in southern France in like the 600s. The sort of castle lord was out doing lordly things, hunting, I don't know, cruising, dogging, le dogging, le chienning. And a snake or a serpent kind of snuck into the nursery where the king or lord's baby was in a bassinet or little crib or whatever. And the dog chased the snake everywhere and got bitten and killed and like ripped the snake up. And this is as the Lord comes home, and it looks like Guinevere, his loyal hound, hence the snake in this picture here, right? His loyal hound is attacking the baby. So he kills the dog instantly and then finds the dead snake, and it's like, oh, what have I done? And so on. So it's this protective loyalty thing. Snakes obviously stand in for, well, they're dangerous to babies anyway, but like snakes stand in for kind of like evil spirits and so on. So there's this loyalty and protectiveness. The card, it's a card of friendship and alliance, right? So that's the sort of primary signification. But that's kind of my thoughts. What immediately jumps to your mind, Colin, if we're doing like a marriage of this St. Guinevere? Like, I want it to have a halo, is my point.
Yeah, that's cute.
Like a subtle halo. We don't need a
Obviously,
snake, but I'm in my head, I'm thinking like it is actually sort of like sitting and looking out. It's a greyhound that's sitting and looking out of the card like this. It just depends. I worry because of maybe not that color because that's too close to the fox. I don't mind this one either. I don't mind the dog in particular. I don't mind it sort of standing and looking in an alert way with a subtle halo. This one's too. This is a zombie dog. This is too skinny. I don't want like a Mariah skinny Guinevere. I want.
Yeah, it's a greyhound butt, right? Like that's
Yes.
kind of right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so are we?
This is
The question is the most important question is: are we ready to see the demise of Michelle Gomez and the serpent in this card? Is this?
I don't want the serpent
in relation.
I don't want the serpent. I don't think we need that in like it is St. Guinevere, but if you look at typically the iconography includes the snake. My first version of it, like I'm basically seeing. I wouldn't like. I actually quite like this, but without the stance of the dog, but without the baby, and the snake, right? So if you actually just picture this dog in the middle of the card, but drawn better, you'll know that's St. Guinevere with a more subtle halo, of course. So I think we can, at least for version 1. I'm seeing people in the chat like, I'm not sure how I feel about the snake. Yes, definitely. I don't want version 1. I don't think we should have the snake in the card. What does everyone else think?
Michelle must live.
Well, yeah, you can't kill a bad bitch.
Truth, spitting truth. I like that's a cute. Without the baby, obviously, it's a striking image.
Yeah,
and it works with like the inset and everything. It works within the sort of dimensions of the card. And we can have like a little fun with the halo and like do stuff where it's, this is like
a subtle halo.
Cute. I like it.
Now, there's a couple of places, and interesting, this is coming up in the UFO Saints and Fairies course in not this module this weekend, but next week's module. There is St. Guinevere has holy wells and groves even that were in fact cut down. This is why it's in the course, because the local bishop was like, "You idiots, please stop worshipping a dog." And they said, "Make me." And so they cut down the grove. Didn't work. People still go to St. Guinevere. And in particular for things like loyalty and protection of children and so on. But what that means is in terms of mise en scène, the middle card there, something like that, but drawn in your style. Like a field in a forest at night. Again, remember it's mostly the dog. But
Or night.
Yes. Well, I feel like night. It doesn't have to be. But there's something kind of like more observant about
No, I think night works because we want the halo to kind of illuminate the dog, kind of almost the dog.
Yeah, I see that.
So yeah, night works.
Yeah. Great. So, and I actually like all these sort of iterations of the halo. The sort of skinny Mariah Whippet on the right, I think has a really cool one. But I actually
that's very graphic and nice. Yeah.
And personality-wise, just because it's dogs, a little bit nicer than that, but that card is the closest. I think the greyhound should be grey because we have a red fox already. Mm-hmm. So the greyhound should definitely not be this goodest boys red and white color combination. But yeah, that's where I think we go for. That's where we go for the card. And there's a general agreement of leaving the snake out. But Shelley makes a point. Could you allude to it at some in some nearby pattern. Well, if you go, yes, is the answer. If you go with like a foreground of grass here, you do, and especially if you're like, and the dog is looking alert, like you can see here, you actually do have a snake in the grass motif, right? Like the dog's actually kind of like watching for something
Right.
without it being that big of a deal. So yeah, those are. I wasn't sure. I mean, I think that works. I think that's pretty good
Yeah,
for version
totes.
one. Yeah, nice.
The alertness on like a tall grass kind of situation like speaks to like the loyalty aspect, like this bitch is looking out for you, like that's so I like that. That's cool. And we don't have to get like explicit with the snake because um we don't want to kill our favorite bitch.
No.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. So the inset is what did we say? The 10 of hearts? No,
Yeah, 10 of hearts. And that, I
10 of
mean,
hearts.
the inset, that's an inset, obviously, of maximum joy and happiness. And it kind of comes to,
Oh.
you get like why that's a dog card, right? Because in traditional fortune telling, it's like weddings or shared joy because it's like lots of hearts and it's uncomplicated love. So it's not sexy romantic love. It's not passion. It's just uncomplicated love, like a dog. And in
Mhm.
particular, the dog's capacity to just find everything excellent. Like if a dog is being included in something, it's the best thing that's happened, and it's that unfiltered, because it's a card of like friendship and loyalty and so on, but it's
Yeah,
also a
yeah,
card of unself-conscious joy, and that's there in the.
yeah.
It's a good card. Oh, and speaking of the alertness, this is why I kind of landed on St. Guinevere. It's also the card of like warning. So literally a dog barking to warn you. So depending on what relation the dog is in to other cards, there might be something you haven't noticed. So dog in relation to mice in relation to your business is like a warning that someone's stealing from you, or where like so it in relation it is this amazing joy and friendship and loyalty, but sometimes it's like a bark to warn you of an intruder type thing, right? So it's a really cool card, and so we should definitely
Yeah.
put some love on it. But like that joy thing it's perfect. My favorite is when it's a dog, an ugly dog, is like included in like a mutt surrounded by like golden retriever puppies, like young golden retrievers that are all stunning, and it has no awareness that it is not the pretty one. It's just having like the
Yeah.
best time to be included. That pure joy and love, that's the 10 of hearts. So you can see why
Yeah.
dog landed with that.
As someone that's had Labradors in the past, like they are the most beautiful dog, like that, the most handsome, or whatever the female version of handsome is. I don't know, handsome. Um, yeah, definitely. And then you get like a gorgeous little mutt that's just like, yeah, yeah. Just, no, there is no like, there's no,
They have
they don't
no
have
awareness.
vanity the way we do.
They have no awareness that they don't
um,
look like.
no. And we were all just like, oh my god, he's so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend that has a black lab called Caesar, and every time I see this dog, I fully just molest the fucker. Like it's not even like I'm gonna get arrested one day. Like this dog is being abused by me personally because he's just the most. And then like I see other people's dogs, and I'm just like, all right, oh cool. You have
Yeah.
a rat that you put a collar on. Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. So, like, we want a collar on it, I feel, but not maybe, I guess, a tight collar. Maybe something loose and symbolic because we don't want a restraint. We want something kind of familial, like I don't know, something that represents, I guess, loyalty.
Well, yeah, maybe. Um, I'm not sure actually, because
A
Guinevere.
wreath. Fuck it, it's the saying. A wreath. Put a wreath on.
Well, it's kind of like it's not that they're lucky, but I almost want if we're going to go down a collar, and I'm not sure I want a collar on a saint, but we could actually put the clover badge on it.
Oh my, yeah, right, cool.
So like
some
maybe
kind
it's
of
that
right.
guy's dog. Maybe like the croupier.
Even
Like
just clovers growing out of the grass. Like just I don't know. Maybe there's like a throwback there.
yeah, because it's not like luck
Yeah.
isn't quite
So
right. Like there are plants that are plants of fidelity and so on, but they're all quite flowery and so not.
mhm.
You could do a fleur de lis. Um, that
New
actually would
Orleans strong.
if you want to do a French thing, a fleur de lis isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're not crazy about a collar, is what I'm hearing.
no, because like
That's
if
the
I actually
important
look at
aspect.
if we jump back to cuntboard, none of the Guinefours have a collar. Now I get why you would want them. Like, I get why you're sort of talking about it because a collar indicates what we humans would call ownership, right? So that has
Yeah, that's true.
that has the loyalty component, right? And as opposed to like, why is this wild dog in a field? But I feel like the halo would give it away. However, if you want to go down a color route, I would like to see. We could literally have like the same little brooch, the same little magic brooch. Because was it Nathan? Someone reminded me
Oh.
this week in the chat. Like, remember you guys were going to sell those pins? I'm like, yeah, all right, we were and will, because I definitely want one. But
That would be cool.
yeah, let's see how that goes. Because it's if it's a saint, it has like magic powers anyway. So like,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't work, if it's like no, that's crap because it is only playing card size, then
We'll keep it on a separate layer and then
yeah,
just
good
that gets
idea.
taken away.
Good idea.
Cool. Okay. No, that's no. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because like when you have a collar, like so, I have a collar from the deceased Labrador, for example, the owned. Dumb as a bag of drag queens' wigs, but much beloved. But yeah, it doesn't have the kind of quite the. It's not. It doesn't scream loyalty. It's more just as its ownership. That like this is the remembrance of the ownership
Yeah,
as opposed to the memories of the thing. So yeah, no, I'm on board with that. That's cool.
cool. Well, we've arrived at the song portion of
Oh
this week's
no.
challenge.
Right. Yes.
You go first.
Indeed.
We had like a real
So
Disney gay discussion before the show started.
yeah, it was the lesser of two evils that I decided upon. It was between the song from Aladdin, which was "You've never had a friend like me or a friend like me," but it's kind of too. Even though we're talking about a saint, it's too like it was too. Although I love it, it's a cool song. It was too like directly magical because it's literally a genie talking about all the shit it can do for you.
Yeah.
So I went with "You've Got a Friend in Me" from Toy Story because I am 23 years old, and that is a song that means a lot to me as a 23-year-old TikToker.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to start sharing them in the group. Right. So I went with, and have we had Dolly? Did we do Dolly for the house card or did we do like Blue?
We've
Smoke?
had Dolly from the House
Yeah,
Card. It
yeah,
was good.
yeah. So this is Dolly's second time on the show, which is fine.
She's had a busy week.
Yeah, you can't make old friends.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and that's what I went with. The secondary one, it's like the same energy, but not as sad, like not as Seymour, but somehow gayer. Thank you for being a friend. Theme song to Golden Girls. But actually, if you listen to
Dude, how did all right. Once again, I believe I've rescinded my gay card like 3 times on this podcast show situation. I will do it once more because that flew
that is the
past
song
me.
for the card, right? And if you haven't,
It's a feeling on my behalf.
I would like to apologize to and on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community. I am sorry
Yes,
for my
we
tweets
speak for
about
them,
fracking
and we are
and
the
for my
only
failure to
people.
mention the Golden Girls.
Both like Dolly of it, like that's. I mean, come on, that's the queen. So that is the right choice. But damn it, god damn it.
Yeah. So thank you for being a friend. If anyone in this like chat, and this is a pretty fucking gay group, but if anyone in the chat hasn't heard the whole song rather than just the the intro to
Oh, it's
Golden
a
Girls. Like,
journey.
it's good. It's good. So those are my songs. I had some other sad ones
That's
too,
actually
but yeah.
that's actually going to be the card back design. Is just like the like Blanche's like wallpaper, like the sort of fraud and stuff like that. That's it. That's what we're doing. Sorted, done, job ticked off.
Nice
Great.
one. So, what are you working on? It's obviously going to be the doggo this week, but anything else you got planned?
Dog. So we're the bear's kind of done. We just need to like. I feel like now that we've discussed what we're like, she's jumping the fence. So that's settled that for me. That's cool. That'll be a moment's work. I want to do it a lot more in the house.
Just
I
to
know
interrupt
everyone,
there,
I know when you hear
one
it,
thing,
like,
right? Because it looks to me like the bear is actually leaving the industrial site. So when you do move the shaman to like somewhere in and
should we
around
move
the Wichita
the paw
scene,
print inwards or
well,
something?
they could be facing back in. Do you know what I mean? So kind of like,
Right.
yeah, because it's
Oh my god, she could do like she could be doing like a Sarah Connor holding onto the fence situation.
Oh no,
like,
I was thinking
as the
more
new
standing
pet.
on the paw print in like a bit more of almost like a ninja situation, like a bit more ballet,
Oh,
like
okay.
summoning the bear back, bareback phrasing.
Yeah, cool, got it. Gordon, did you go to film school by any chance?
Yeah. And this is what I do with it. Yeah.
No, that yeah, cool, no, 100%. So we'll be doing that. A bit more on the house card is. I was thinking about this. I didn't touch the house card this week, and I was like, I know exactly what it's going to look like. This is going to be when it's done. You bitches, it will be done, and this will be potentially the best card. No one's gonna think it's gonna be the best card. No one's gonna expect it. You don't think it's gonna be, but no, it will fucking be because I know exactly what it. Home is it's a concept. It's gonna fucking land. So we'll do a bit more on that. We'll be doing a bit more on that for the next 23 weeks, 26 weeks, whatever it is. What else? Oh, more inset shit, right? So we have Queen of Hearts, get that done, work that into the 10 of Hearts, make that a solidified concept, I think, for next week would be a good thing.
That's more important to me than the house. Like if because you're gonna get to carry over the inset exploration from a court card to a pip, and if you get one pip and one court right, it's done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Essentially, essentially it's done. With the pips more so, obviously with the trumps, it's doing a little bit of meaning work and stuff. But we're old hat at that. We've got it down by this point, guys. Quick reminder: you can pre-order the deck at Fortune's Fools. Subsidiary of RuneSoup.com. Get on that fucking website, pre-order it. It's so at the beginning, my whole thing was I want to be able to use this as a deck that I can use as like a Lenormand card deck. And now I'm like, at the beginning I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't like having full like week to week existential crises. And now I'm like, no, it's starting to look like a fucking good deck. Like I am into this. Like
right.
So
right. You're looking at it,
I'm giving it a 5-star review, guys. Just like heads up. And the print run is limited, so it's like first come, first serve, I guess.
Absolutely. The playing cards, will, at the moment, they'll be available forever, right? But the actual deck and the book is limited. That's why, and it's going to happen. There's still a couple of hundred left. We've got enough to print or whatever. That's why I'm like, buy them or tell people to buy them, because I was talking to Avalon. Did I mention? Yeah, like last week, because Avalon and I went upstate to do some filming, and obviously she's gone through this process for a tarot deck, and you take people's money and use the money to print the cards, and then you send the cards out. Very simple. Except as soon as the cards get in people's hands and they start taking photos of them, she's still like,
people want more.
With people who are like, where can I get these cards? I'm like, bitch, where were you? Where were you for the whole year and a half?
Well, that's right, because she had to like sell defective decks and stuff. I remember that. Like she had to like like, oh, we've sold out, so oh, we've got some crap
Set
decks
like
that
the ones
printed
that didn't.
wrong.
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so
So, you know,
crazy.
it's this isn't fucking eBay, okay? Like, get on board.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So Inset and Doggo, and I don't know, a bunch of TikToks. I guess that's what you're doing this week.
Oh, guys, I am on TikTok, unfortunately. I don't really want to talk about it, but I am obviously a twink, 21-year-old,
Yep.
and it is my way. So Colin Alexander Draws on TikTok. If that's how your mental illness, you know, shows itself, get on there and like, you know, spiral with me. Just do it. Fuck it.
Nice. All righty. Well, thanks everyone. Again, less of an input, although I do actually have actually really appreciated the subtleties around the snake and the collar and so on in the chat. So thank you very much to the guys in the chat who followed, and of course the Telegram group throughout the week for feedback. And I'll post some pictures of some of the playing cards I was talking about in there too. They're not like hand drawn, but you'll see what I mean when I post them in there. But otherwise, everyone, have a good week, and of course, see you next Friday.
See you next Friday. Bye.